Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news, discussion, and of course, a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works in the Cosmere. I'm Eric, and joining me is Evgeni.
Hi, I'm Argent, and I am not prepared with show and tell today.
Great. Well, then we're moving on to the next one. Also joining us is Adim.
Hey, I'm X.
Also joining us is Bonnie.
Hi, I'm Cosmeregirl.
Wow, that was a lot right there. That's too cheerful.
We're gonna need you to meet us at our energy level.
Yeah, come on, stop it.
Hi guys, I'm Cosmeregirl.
Very good. And last but certainly not least, we have a special guest, Jason.
Hello.
Hi. Tell us about your channel.
Yeah, I'm Jason. I go by Jasonian online, and I make video essays that are shot in the Cosmere as if a researcher were going planet to planet and telling you about things in depth, way more than is necessary a lot of the time.
And they are very well produced because you know how to produce things. So that's pretty good. And you should all check it out. So link will be in the description, and as one of the cards, it'll be over here on the overlay. Not on here on Discord, but hey.
Look, YouTube is going to change their design in a couple of years, and then cards will no longer exist, and description is going to be embedded into the video itself. So.
I like how YouTube, on mobile, you have to tap to see like comments and things. They changed that, so we wouldn't want to let the recommended videos not be right there. That'd be crazy.
I love living in a dystopia.
Anyway, we're going to talk not about a dystopia, but maybe a little bit. But we're going to talk about Mistborn Ghostbloods. We have a reading. We have 2 snippets of 2 different scenes that Brandon talked about. And so we obviously have to go and talk to you about them.
Line by line, word by word.
Yes.
Letter by letter.
Yes.
Exactly.
Every letter we will decode like we are decoding, like we're in the Da Vinci Code.
I mean, these are short enough that we can probably do that.
We don't need to pad the episode anymore than our natural inclinations here.
Our natural padding.
Yes. This is Era 3 of Mistborn. And this will be the main project Brandon's working on for the next 5 years. So cool. He's writing these all straight through. So he's going to write the first one, second one, third one before the first one even comes out.
Except he wrote some novella. Well,
yes, he did randomly poop out a novella in like a week. So, there's going to be I'm not worried about Brandon Sanderson content, guys. Like, that's not a concern I have. So he said in State of the Sanderson 2024, this series will mark the return of some familiar, somewhat spike-filled characters from Era 1, along with some new characters. It will follow, as the title indicates, the Ghostbloods and their activities on Scadrial. Excellent. Some 50 years or so after the end of Era 2. I've been planning this trilogy since 2006, and I'm very excited to finally write it. I bet he is waiting 20 years to write this.
It's one of those things that's like the ending of Stormlight 5, right? That's also something that's been in his head for decades.
Yeah.
So like these pillars of the Cosmere saga.
Yeah, yes, the Cosmere saga.
It's got to be one of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so we'll have Ghostbloods 1 around December 2028. So we got a ways, but hopefully this, gets you a bit hyped. So obviously we will have Mistborn spoilers in this episode. And we're just going to do full Cosmere spoilers because it's actually relevant here.
Including up to Emberdark.
Oh, is there Emberdark? Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
There is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go read that first, and then let's come back to this episode, and then
go read all of the Cosmere, and then come back to us.
Yeah.
For about 2 sentences.
And in our interview, when Brandon name-dropped that the third trilogy would be called Mistborn Ghostbloods, or the third era, excuse me, sorry. We were talking about how it was disappointing how, characters would be invited to the Ghostbloods and keep saying no. And Brandon did say that we would have a character actually join the Ghostbloods, and it's called Mistborn Ghostbloods. So, I'm excited to see that. We did a whole Era 3 predictions episode already, but yeah, let's just get on into this with talking about Ayven, who is amazing. I love her.
Hey, I'd just like to jump in and say that I wasn't able to do the Mistborn Era 3 predictions, but my top prediction was that we would have some character named Ayven who was Terrace, and she would be attending a convention, and
why?
So I'm glad that I'm glad that my predictions paid off.
We really should have hedged
out fortune,
or the spiritual realm.
Yes, exactly. Well, we did know that there would be a Terrace hacker type thing. That was kind of the
programmer. I'm not sure if we had hacker. But
sure. Mm-hmm. Long ago, he said Microcell misting, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
I think he mentioned something somewhere about playing with identity too.
Sure.
That came up at some point.
I'm sure those core Cosmere words won't come up again.
It would be funny. An Allomancer hacker messing with people's identity, like identity theft. Is that what we're doing? It's just stealing data.
Oh no.
Well, it is the modern trilogy, so when else are we going to do it?
Star Trek.
Yeah, perfect. So, what do you guys want to talk about with this Ayven section?
All right, cool. Well, the setting.
Yes.
The future, but also not our future. 80s level technology, if I'm not mistaken, but with flying cars.
80s level. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, sure. So you got like your Walkmans, I guess, and then, a flying car overhead. That's how I don't remember it.
It's the 80s, but cooler.
Yeah. The 80s that Marty McFly wishes he lived in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ellendale seems more bustling than I expected it to be. A lot of tourists, I think, were mentioned, but where these tourists are from is omitted. I don't know if it's like from the basin, from the south, or from the stars, but tourists.
That's a hot take.
That would be something.
Yeah, so one thing that we did learn is that he's confirmed the Cyberpunk trilogy, which he's sort of been talking about wanting to do, and he's finally decided he is going to do it. And it's interesting, flying cars are sort of a staple of Cyberpunk sort of aesthetic, but we already have them here. And so it's going to be interesting to see where else we diverge from the 1980s aesthetic based on, previous world building that we've gotten in Era 2, potentially influences from other places as well.
I think my favorite part was the Terrace Mountain Funk with the synth beats.
Lots of people love the
what
mountain
that sounds
funk.
like. What does that sound like? Like, I'm imagining, personally, I'm imagining panpipes with synth beats. It's kind of how I'm seeing this.
Interesting. My brain fills in Brazilian funk, just boom chaka chaka boom chaka boom chaka.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just the worst repetitive beat.
Excellent.
I don't know. It feels like it would be like, I want to call it earthy, like bassy, like treble, deep down something. I don't know how to marry that idea with funk.
I don't think Brandon knows. I'll be totally honest.
Well, fortunately, he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to. It's a book.
Write people who speak to a rhythm, and
yeah, exactly.
That's how it works. Yeah.
That's a problem for anyone adapting this later. Yeah, we got flying cars held up by the Steelfield, which we'll get into. Okay. That's what happens.
Yeah. I mean, not the first time we see that word, right?
No, it's not.
The first time we see it in practice.
Yes. But yeah, so they have like electronics and stuff along with flying cars.
They've got a theater row.
Theater row.
I like Broadway, I imagine.
Sure, right.
Yeah, I can see that. One thing that I like that's a fun like juxtaposition of the setting is there's a line early on about buskers competing with architecture and neon for attention, and I like the contrast of the, you know, what I imagine earlier 20th century and before, just regular people on the streets busking, and the almost futuristic but not quite futuristic image of neon signs and flashing lights and something like that, all in the same place. I think that's a fun aesthetic. It reminds me, I think Star Wars has been described as retrofuturistic, so like Star Wars, Firefly have been described as retrofuturistic, which is, yes, we have spaceships, but also our cities look like trash. And the technology is like extremely analog, extremely like the middle of the century type of stuff. And this is not that, but it has a little bit of this. Oh, we've got flying cars, which I imagine are like these almost sci-fi looking, you know, the sleek shapes, metallic, although, well, we've seen sci-fi cars, right? That's what I mean.
I think, no.
And then contrasting that, we have the, you know, the Walkmans and the big headphones and the buskers.
Mm-hmm.
Some really interesting competing themes there.
Yeah.
Another little like sort of thread that has been pulled from previous from Era 2 is the mentions of like, I mean, we get the Terrace Mountain Funk, but then there's also mentions of like other sort of terrace cultural markers that have sort of permeated into like wider pop culture within Scadrial.
I love how it's in fashion.
Yeah. The terrace symbols being appropriated by pop culture. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it you know, it makes sense that when your god is a terraceman, that terrace stuff would be in vogue. Definitely, also plenty of parallels to real world, you know, cultures, influence cultures of some groups within a larger, you know, country influencing everything else. And you know, I don't know how far Brandon wants to go with it, but there are a lot of sub themes you can tackle with that kind of scaffolding.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting because I think it's fascinating that the culture has kind of appropriated, you know, the terrace culture a bit, because a lot of that was the Lord Ruler's cultural engineering. Like, I don't know how much of that is actually authentically terrace and how much is what the Lord Ruler said the terrace are, which I guess is just what the terrace are now. But like them being docile, that has continued through pretty much every age of Mistborn, even though that was deliberately done by the Lord Ruler.
Yeah, that's good.
That is interesting. It's a good point.
Yep.
Yeah. There's also an interesting conversation to be had around, like, because we know that the terrace people date back at least, you know, over a millennia at this point, over 1400, probably over 15 centuries at this point. There is a conversation to be had about what is terrace. Can you go as far back as like pre-Rashek's ascension and like tease the original culture of the terrace people out of those things? You know, the Quan days. Because Harmony certainly would have had the ability to access that and include it in the words of founding if he wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Or do you say, okay, well, that was a millennia ago. The terrace that we are today, or the terrace that we were 300 years ago, are just not those people anymore because we've been changed from having lived a millennia, you know, in the final empire. And so is this now terrace culture? There's probably like real parallels between this and some of Earth's history. I don't know if this is the kind of dialogue that's happening around the globe, but cultures change, sometimes are forced to change. And when you live, to give you perhaps an example that I can speak to without making an ass of myself online. I come from a country that was founded in the 7th century. So that's, 13-ish centuries of history. About 7 of those centuries were under the dominion of some empire or other, either the Ottoman Empire or the Byzantine Empire. So half of my country's history was not really my country's history. Like there's a lot of culture, a lot of language that has been absorbed from those others that to this day is actively, it's like, if I want to go back, if I am the equivalent of Ayven or the Terrace people of Elendil, how far do I go back, or do I even go back at all and say, okay, I reject this Ottoman influence, I reject this Byzantine influence, like, because at some point you can't disentangle those things, right?
Yeah, it's all connected. Yeah,
but there's an all that is to say, there is an interesting conversation to be had for, I don't think we're going to see much, if any, of that in the book, but I think it would be, I imagine that the Terrace people are having those conversations.
So I do think that Brandon has an opportunity here. I don't know if you would want to take it, because there are a lot of directions he can go, obviously, but I think that Ayven will be like an opportunity to explore sort of a Terrace person thinking about Terrace culture, which we've had Terrace characters in the past with Sazed, Wax, and Wayne, technically, but Sazed was sort of more worried about other things. Didn't really have time to reflect too much on being a Terrace, what that means, as we were talking about earlier. But I think that she could have the opportunity to. It would be neat to see, especially in the context of like you're a god being a Terraceman, and the sort of how the Terrace culture has just become much more commonplace in at least the North, to see a Terrace person's perspective on that.
Yeah.
I want to jump back too. I think Evgeni made a good point with talking about being careful with examples to not make an ass out of yourself online. But I think Brandon really handled this very well here. How there's that awkwardness too to that conversation they were having just at the ticket booth, and how she was being treated as if she should be more, docile and etc. And I think Brandon handled that very well.
I did like that sequence a lot.
Yeah.
I like that he didn't shy away from it.
Yeah, I hope that we get more of this cultural push and pull, as it were.
Well, that does sound very thematically Mistborn, so I feel like that might be the case. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should probably just talk about Ayven's character, because she's lovely, presumably related to Tindwyl. I can only assume that that's what that means. With Tindwyl had a lot of kids, so that seems.
Yeah. What's the exact line?
It's like great,
because it's redacted, the name they're talking about.
Oh yeah, we should talk about
that's
that too.
That's a different thing, I think, but that's talking about Sazed.
Yeah,
I think that Tindwyl is mentioned, if not by name, by like title or something.
Yeah.
So there is a line where Ayven, like she is interacting with the mists and thinks, the body of harmony, she thought, the essence of a god. So redacted, had no direct children. She liked to think of this as her ancestry. Though the lineage of her great, well, she didn't know how many greats. Her greatest grandmother, whose name laced legend, myth, and history with distinguished tenacity.
Yeah, that's obviously Tindwyl. Redacted is obviously Sazed, and Brandon is just trying to not have Erewhon spoilers right in here. But
Yes,
if you pick up Ghostbloods 1, it'll be right here in this opening. So take that.
It's kind of fun how that works too, as if you start chronologically, you get it chronologically, If you start with Ghostbloods, then you're kind of getting, here's the prologue to what happened and how we got here.
Yep. But I love Ayven a lot. She seems kind of shy. Like she's going to the convention and she's like, oh no, it's sold out.
Just a little dork.
She's a dork. We love the dorks going to conventions here. Of course we do. I think many of us can relate to, oh yeah, the convention was so small and now it's huge at Nexus. It's like, oh yeah,
The growth has been crazy for like Brandon releases. The first one I went to was like in 2015, Shadows itself, and it was just like basement BYU library.
Yeah.
And now
Hell
it's
yeah.
sold out Salt Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was either I was going to say Steelheart, or Firefight. One of those tours.
Steelfield.
There were 2 signings in the Chicago area, and one of them was like a classroom. It was like 20 people.
Wow.
Are you saying Steelheart didn't bring all the people to the signing? That's crazy.
Look, I got so many wobs out of this thing, dude.
No, I remember my first one was Alloy, and it was still in BYU. And yeah, Alloy and Shadows and Words of Radiance. Those are good releases. But even in Shadows, it was pretty packed though. So I'm not surprised that
as packed as the BYU library basement could be. Yeah.
Yes. But like Ayven's not. Like they're saying, oh, aren't you supposed to be accommodating and calm? But it's like she wasn't being rude. She's just like, but I want a ticket. I didn't think it would be a problem. I waited too long. So like I feel like she's a little like spacey, I guess you could say. Just like, I'd get to it eventually. It'll be fine. And then it was not fine.
It sounds like SpacerCon should have had like a lottery system or something that people could, put their email in advance and have a chance at tickets.
Yeah, well, Tabletop Games doesn't support that. And so, they'll go to a new system next year. The open question of what the internet is, if they have the internet. I don't think we know.
I'm still hoping we get a Coppernet. I think Coppernet has been a great name for...
Yeah, I don't think we even got any mentions of like computers or anything. We just got.
Well, I mean, they have the Walkman.
We got.
So.
Yeah, we got like mentions of like Ayven's like work, but we don't know exactly. Like,
sure.
From Wobbs, we know that she's a programmer, someone who works with computers.
Yeah.
But this is meant to be like early. The setting is really weird because I just keep going back to like flying cars, but also this is meant to be like early computer, like early software early computers, right?
Are you saying the flying cars in neon makes it sound like it is actually cyberpunk, but it's not the cyberpunk? Is that what you're saying?
I always this book is so oiled up. I always feel like I can grasp it, and then it just slips through my fingers.
Well, I think Brandon likes the weirdness there, just to not make it feel like, oh yeah, it's just our world, but Mistborn magic, right? Like, and I really like that.
I like the mishmash.
Yeah.
Man, the flying car insurance must be crazy though, because like an accident up there, that's going to be pretty bad.
Well, the thing is that they're it seems like they're locked at a specific height and things.
Yeah, they do have infrastructure for it, but there's still like pedestrian ground walks, what they call it, under the lanes of traffic.
Sure. That's probably fine.
I hope so.
I guess even if your car is like, if accident happens and like, even if they can keep your car up there somehow, you can still have debris that falls down to the ground walk.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's all fine.
With the setting, I was under the impression that Era 3 was going to be like 80 years after Era 2. It seemed...
He said that before. Yeah. So
I don't know if that is actually going to be the case. It would line up pretty well with like some other time skips that are going on.
I think the newest number is like 50.
Yeah, I mean, he said that at the beginning of this. That is like about 50 years.
Okay.
So
cool. Good
Does
to
seem
know.
fast after 50 years from Lost Metal for sure.
I think it would
I was
be
hoping
hilarious
Max
if
would
they
be
still didn't have
unambiguous.
radio and Sazed's just like, what are you guys?
Well, I mean, it does feel fast, but like technology is weird, right? You compare this, year 1900 to 1950.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's a pretty dramatic difference for sure.
Nuclear fusion has entered the picture. Computers have entered the picture. Space is entering the picture.
Sure.
And then you compare the 1950s to now. I still live in the 2000s. Hi, or
We all
2000.
Yeah.
But you compare that, and you have an incredible power of computing in your pocket. You have we don't have flying cars, but we do have cars that are unlike what was available then in many ways. We have infrastructure. I guess our cities haven't changed all that much, which is sad, but whatever.
We invested in the information technology, right? That was rather than the flying cars.
That's accurate. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's gone
You
great.
also-
It's gone great, guys.
That's why they don't have internet, because they invested in flying cars and we invested in information.
in the civilization tech tree. Sazed put it in here and not in internet.
Civilization
Cat pictures.
Israel.
Yeah.
He saved Scadrial from having Twitter.
For now,
God.
that can still be in the cyberpunk era, Adam.
Yeah,
That's the real dystopia where Twitter
There's
rules
always-
everything.
There's also this back and forth too between Elendil Basin, where they have basically everything that
Mhm.
they need, versus South Scadrial, where they had to figure out how to fight to survive. And I
Mhm.
love that back and forth there, and it really shows in the technology too.
Yeah.
It's just like there's constant contrast at Mistborn, and it's so fun to just point them out and be like, oh, there's another contrast.
A push and a pull, if you will.
Mhm.
Exactly.
No black mist, though. No black mist has ever been seen since
Yet.
But no, I did really appreciate the point of the lottery system. That was very funny. And so I feel like we moved past it, and I would just like to give that joke its proper light in the sun. And I also wanted to correct myself. Not everyone lives in the 2000s, because there are, in fact, 2000s babies,
That's
listening to
lore.
this. And yeah, it is forbidden lore, but welcome to the show. I know that's not our prime demographic here, but I know that exists.
What are your channel analytics, Eric?
The 25 to 34 is doing really well.
Yep, yeah, that checks out. Let's see. You mentioned Moment in the Sun, and I think that is a good segue into the mists. The mists are acting kind of weird.
Oh, you're so good at this, Jason. Yeah, I mean, of course we have to start a Mistborn book with like, hey, the mists, wow, look at that in the city. And so I love how the scene, sets the vibe for the book.
Mhm.
Very few plot details, but very much vibe.
How does
Immediate
Alloy
nostalgia.
start?
Absolutely. But the mists are indeed quite weird because it is the daytime. And Ayven's like, that's right. No one's paying attention to it. Oh, it's just a city bustling around. They don't pay attention to the mists, but I do expect that there is going to be, some mist-related weirdness. We will talk about the Discordant, which I'm sure is not a problem at all. Sounds nice. I'm sure this trilogy won't have anything to do with Harmony and Sazed.
No.
I'm sure he's
Never.
fine.
Nothing. I do, and this is not going to be a surprise to anyone, but I feel like we have to call it out. I really appreciate the kind of thematic callback of the opening line that harkens back to Ash fell from the sky, Mist hugged the shadows.
Yeah, I think it was that.
Mist hugged the shadows, yeah. This one is not as good as Ash fell from the sky, but this is alpha. We can workshop it.
But it does get you feel like, oh, we're back in Scadrial. It's like, oh yeah. Scadrial's great. Also, if there's flying cars, it's like, okay, sure, we're doing that now.
But yeah, it is certainly odd that the mists are lingering because they've never done that.
Well, technically, there was
There was the
books
deepness.
where, well, actually,
Yeah, the whole history of Scadrial would make me think that maybe people would be a bit concerned if they see mist floating around in the daytime.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Given precedent.
These do seem distinctly playful, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot
spirit
of the
was pretty
vines.
playful when it stabbed Ellen in the stomach, I have to say.
Yeah, preservation. He's nice. I guess it's actually Kelsier that made him do the stabbing, though.
I mean, he's killed one god. Might as well nip this one in the bud before he gets going.
It's true. Look, I don't know, Jason, if you know my theory that I've said for a while, that this trilogy involves Kelsier murdering Sazed, and then we use the corpse, the Shardic corpse of Sazed to power starships for the space age. So I think that'd be fun.
That would be fun. That would be fun
me.
for everyone except for Sazed, I think.
Well, he'll probably be fine. But
The good of the many and all that.
yeah.
It's interesting how the mist is written here too. I like how it's the quote is talking about the vine growing at speed. It's playful. It reminds me a lot of the vines and tress.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's incidental, just like that's how the
for
visual is, right?
I mean, the mists are always weird because it's not actually like water vapor, right? Because it's the body of God. So,
Yeah.
it's a little interesting and weird, but it's interesting that it's playful with Ayven, I think. I know people are talking
And
about
she
that.
says she'd heard of it acting playful before, but had never experienced it firsthand.
Interesting.
So maybe some connection with her,
Maybe
maybe some attuning force, guys.
Oh
I
no.
think Sazed probably just knows that she's the protagonist.
I mean, sure, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah. Tapping
Protect
fortune, he
energy.
knows. He knows.
The
Yeah.
fourth metallic art that interacts with the mists.
Hey, that maybe that's what the Cyberpunk trilogy is about. Don't.
Mhm. But I do definitely think that we're going to get some Black Mist at some point in the series,
I
in
would
this
love to
in
get
this
some
trilogy.
Black Mist. Back when Brandon said at the end of Hero of Ages, it's like, oh yeah, there's going to be 2 types of mists, and then Era 2, nothing, no Black Mist.
Era 2 is a fake era.
It's fake era. This is the real era. Hope we get epigraphs and stuff.
Yeah. It is wild to imagine that this is like. I know that he would have written Era 3 differently if he hadn't written Era 2.
Oh
But
my god, yeah.
if this was like, if we went from Hero of Ages to the like flying cars, then like,
That would be pretty
Wow.
crazy. And just like, oh yeah, the Southerners, they're over there. It's like, what is going on? So, and Brandon did say that he would obviously, need to do this different. Check out our Brandon interview that we did earlier this year. That it certainly makes this easier that Brandon doesn't have to, do so much setup that he already did it in Era 2. So I think this is much more fun this way.
Mhm.
Do we want to talk about the flying cars in the Steelfield?
Yeah, let's get into the meat of
We've
it.
been dancing around it like the mists are dancing, right?
We're so
but
playful.
yes. That's what this show is, playful. Yeah, so we have the Steelfield, and oh right, this is why we needed Emberdark, of course. That the Steelfield is mentioned in Emberdark, where with starship anchors placed in a proper Steelfield, these fighters can push and pull with extreme accuracy and nimbleness, outmaneuvering any ordinary ship. Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
I remember when I read Emberdark and I saw that, I was thinking, okay, so a Steelfield is like allows you to push on like nothing, maybe, or like you don't, or like the anchors can be arbitrarily placed, so instead of having to push on like.
Sure.
And so that's what I was thinking. I feel like the way that it's described here, sort of, that could still be how it works, but it also there's like the idea of like locking within a plane, and I don't really know how that.
It's
So
yeah.
the way I'm imagining it is if you have, let's take this to space first, right? And
Yeah,
imagine
sure.
you have kind of like a space station and you have this area with anchors kind of marking the space around the space station. And then within that area, within that range, the starships are able to move very quickly. But then once they're outside of that range, they can't move as well. That's how I'm imagining it. And then just taking that data level to cars, kind of having the Steelfield, this area with the anchors in the specific spaces, the cars can move around, and maybe the cars are locked within the car to a specific plane. And then
So it's like the anchors, if you have like a cube of anchors, you can move it
Exactly.
like 3D. If you like squish the cube down to a plane, you can only move that plane.
separately
sense.
from that, instead of squishing the cube down, because the emergency vehicles can still move around, I'm imagining that the car itself has the limiter. That's how I'm imagining this.
Yeah.
They also mention something they call wavelength shifting. That's like an audible sound the cars make as they fly.
I think that's just supposed to be like Doppler shift, like a
Doppler?
siren.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what that's supposed to mean, but he just can't say Doppler shift.
I was wondering,
I mean-
but it also made me think about like investiture fields, because we know those are a thing. So perhaps something fell back there. Perhaps
Hey.
steel fields are like a metallic arts specific investiture field that can be regulated into a certain area with wavelengths of investiture. Because
Sure.
we do have that.
So slight cut here. Adim had to go due to an emergency. He's fine, but sorry about that. But the show must go on. So we're talking about these cars here. Bonnie, you have some theories?
Yes, excuse me.
Okay, great.
So we're talking about steel fields.
Yes.
And I had some theories about that too. How, based on the theory I was talking about, where we have this specific field and the cars being locked on a plane, being the cars themselves, not the field locking them on a plane.
Yes.
I think it would make for a very fun scene. And I don't know if it's going in this direction, but one potential really fun scene would be unlocking one of the cars from the steel field. I think that would be a blast of a car chase.
Sure.
So,
Also, it becomes so it can move,
like 3D.
so it becomes a true flying car.
exactly.
I think that has to happen, right? Surely. You have to have your cool car chase. Like, why even have cars if we're not going to have a car chase scene? There has to be.
And
Yeah,
so I just have this mental image of, someone futzing with it as they're in the middle of a chase, like get around, and suddenly like break out.
Yeah.
Be really cool.
It is kind of a staple in the genre, in the setting where you have flying cars, to do a thing where you do something, because like whenever you have flying cars, yes, they are flying, but it's not like free for all, right? There are lanes and tractor beams or whatever, where the cars are confined.
Yeah.
And there is often a scene where, either a car falls out of one lane into another, or completely breaks off or escapes or otherwise does something like that. So yeah, I think Brandon is genre savvy enough to absolutely include something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. The building blocks are there in the magic system to make it really fun.
Yeah.
And especially if you consider too, if the cars are made of metal, that's something else that can be affected. And maybe what kind of fun tools could you come up with to pull on a car, to push a car a certain way, to swing an entire car around something? Like the mechanics are there to make it very interesting.
I do wonder if the steel field, I wonder if is what is keeping the cars up in the air, and if that could be turned off. Like, are the cars themselves keeping themselves aloft, or is it the steel field? Because if a bad actor, for example, wanted to cause some chaos and turn off the steel field at rush hour, and just all the cars fall, if that's what is keeping them aloft.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
But
That's where we get the
that's
hacking. Get some ransomware in this.
I just don't know if the steel field is what's keeping them aloft, or if that's powers coming from the vehicle, because we do know that vehicles can move up and down. They're not necessarily locked in here if they're emergency vehicles. And later on in these previews, a flying car with not in a city lands.
Yeah, there's definitely Brandon has built himself enough space within the Magic system to make flying cars really, really fun. I just can't wait to see how he plays with it.
Of course, Brandon would want the complex flight mechanics. What's new? But hey, they're cars this time. That's fine. There was a line saying that the cars hovered rather than flew by virtue of their propulsors.
Oh.
Haven't heard that word before.
So this gave me heavy Sightoverse vibes.
How so?
With you have what were they called? The
acclivity
lances?
rings.
Acclivity rings, and then I think are they called the lances where they
Light
kind of
lances.
grab onto
I was thinking that
light
when you were
lances.
thinking of the spinning. Yes, we're not
And
going to do
it's
Sightoverse
around something.
like spoilers. Like we're just being very general here, guys.
It definitely feels like it's similar mechanics to what we might see in this, as you have the acclivity rings holding the cars up just like the propulsors, versus the swinging around like with the Steelfield potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. An iron pole, you could do, if the cars could, if essentially what we are looking at is the car is steel pushing down to stay up in the air, and then steel pushing and or iron pulling to like navigate, we could see something that's like similar to a light lance where with a combination of the right force vectors, you can do a rotation. It feels like it's got to be some combination of iron pulling and steel pushing that's making all of this work, right? There's probably the cars probably don't have a jet engine or anything.
No. That's surely, well, I mean, that's called the propulsors. I was like, what sort of propulsion are they using? Presumably that. But it's like, but what's the field in that if they're just pushing and pulling, Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I guess we've went away from the field, right?
But also, like, I wanted to talk about the Southerner car, and we will talk about the second scene soon. But yeah, there was a car. It's clearly out in the countryside. I was almost wondering if that car is actually a totally different type of car than like this Ellendale car, as if like maybe that Southerner car is just like an advanced version of like the Southerners, of the skiffs, right? Be. Which is possible. I don't know how much of that is what this Northerner tech is doing. Open question.
So it could be a situation where the North sees the airships and it's like, we need to fly too, and they come up with this technology that is based on steel fields and stuff like that, and then the South is like, oh, we had flight first, but they had like not commercial, but like citizen level, everyone can have a car type of thing. And so they're like, okay, well now we're going to miniaturize our technology, and we all have flying cars, but relying on different technology. So like it's this technological back and forth.
Maybe it is the same tech. It's really hard to say, right?
I could certainly see that, especially with the theme of Cold War that Sanderson has said this era is going to feature. Two competing societies with different flavors of the same tech.
Yeah, I don't know if we can say too much more about the cars because we don't know a lot here currently.
No.
We might need to wait to 2028 because there's no way Brandon is going to be answering questions about the cars until then. But
he'll do another reading before then. Maybe, maybe the rest of chapter 1 has information or something.
Look, before Oathbringer came out, Brandon was like, oh yeah, keep an eye out for Vivenna. So, we might get some tease before the book comes out, right? Whether that's a wise thing for Brandon to do, different story. But
maybe fun though.
Yeah.
Should we jump over to Discordant?
We gotta talk about Discordant. The Discordant kills 3 in the 4th Octant.
And that's it. That's all there is.
That's all we got.
That's it. Good
Bye.
talk.
We're done. Good talk. But what do you guys think? the discordant.
It has like culty vibe.
Sure. Oh, okay. It's like a cult. Yeah, that's what we need. We need, another group like the set. That'll be good.
Well, this would be like more end of days, the end is nigh, Discord is coming type of, murder everyone.
Sure. Yeah, okay.
Sounds valid.
They hyperfixate on this one line in the Terrace prophecies and like, it's capitalized, guys. It's happening.
If they didn't want it in the words of founding, why did he capitalize it there? Like, come on.
I do not wish to be perceived like that.
This is Death Rattles all over again.
Oh no.
Yes.
It's capitalized, guys.
It's capitalized. It's special.
For it.
Well, this one at least is in text, so they know.
Yeah. That's true. They do.
Discordant cult, person, entity, something bad that's killing people.
Yeah, I was seeing people wondering if Sazed had transitioned to Discord. Like that was the thing people were suspecting on Discord. The app, not the god. Just to be clear. I'm sure that won't be confusing.
It's going to be a confusing decade ahead of us.
Great. I was like, that's why Kelsier has to kill Sazed. If he becomes Discord, we can't. It's just too confusing with the app. We have to do it.
There's another interesting take on this too for potentially another power set even. Is like a discordant could be someone with a different power set.
Oh God.
Oh,
now I don't know what that would be, but I mean we do have Harmony, Discord. What?
No, I think that's a really interesting idea, especially in the context of like Roshar and Surges, where we have. So if we think of the allomantic, well, I'm not going to go there. Instead, what I'll say is we do have the surges on Roshar that are expressed in similar, but slightly different, or even not so slightly different ways between different users of those surges.
Sure.
Right? You have the Radiants and the Heralds, and then you have the Fused, and potentially Void Binders.
Don't say the cursed word. This is a Mistborn episode.
And Fabrials are even their own like little. It's similar to everything else, but they are a little specialized. And so I wonder if there is an opportunity for, in the same way or in a way similar to how surges, when granted by Odium, are similar but not identical to surge. I say surges, I mean powers. Surge powers granted by Odium are similar but not necessarily identical to surge powers granted by Honor and Cultivation. I wonder if we might see like a Discord flavored set of abilities that is, it's steel. I don't know how much you can innovate on steel pushing, right? But maybe
it's just reversed. Steel pulls, iron pushes.
Horrible.
Just make it extra confusing.
The world's chaos. It's Discord.
But I don't know. Like maybe your rioting has a flavor of chaos to it, and your soothing is either extra good or insufficiently good at soothing certain emotions, stuff like that.
But wouldn't that require that Discord is a thing that exists? Like, I guess my thought is, I think if Discord is going to be a thing, that's going to happen at the end of first book or second book, right? In third book, we're going to solve whatever Discord problem there is, right? Like, that seems pretty clear. Like, that's how it would go. So I just don't think, like, Sazed is Discord yet. Like, I suppose we can't really know, right? I don't know. I just don't think that would happen.
There's already elements.
Yeah, these can be like warning signs.
Okay.
Oh, we're seeing like if Discord, if first of all, if there's such a thing as a discordant, right? If individual peoples are discordants, and if discordants are users of Discord powers in some capacity,
discordant arts. Sure.
right? We might like the rise of or the emergence of these new strange but familiar powers might be a sign that something is going on with Discord, and that can like be a mystery that we explore through the book or the books.
Sure.
Yeah. I could see it being kind of just a natural side effect of Harmony's two sides becoming not aligned.
Sure.
Or it could be a band-aid on a bullet hole where he's trying to siphon off some ruinous investiture. He's not above meddling in the affairs of the Ellendale Basin. So he might be creating this cell of people and just shoving ruin investiture their way, trying to offset that preservationness attached to everyone.
Sure.
I don't think it would work. But
that doesn't seem like a great plan.
Theory at some point where, or maybe it was even on Shardcast. I forget where I heard this one, but there was a fantastic theory about how Harmony is when preservation is kind of running the show, and Discord is when Rune is running the show.
Yeah, I remember.
I think that was on Shardcast.
Yeah. I think that was our Era 3 prediction episode. Probably, maybe. I don't remember. But I think it was one of them. But yeah, I mean, that was what the Ars Arcanum of Lost Metal was like saying, right? That like ruin is in subservience of preservation and things. And so I think that's a natural theory extending that, right? Guys, I'm really excited about Discord stuff. Like this is the stuff where we're getting the core trilogies that Brandon outlined in before even writing Hero of Ages. I'm like, yeah, give me that stuff. I am concerned because I adore Sazed.
Yeah. And so nothing can happen to Sazed ever.
Oh.
And that's just how that is. As evidence, I've got Sazed and Tindwell are literally taped together.
Oh, that's really cute, actually.
That was intentional.
Nice.
I mean, this is not telling us much, but the path as a religion continues to exist in the future because Ed is a Pathian.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, what was that line? That was that line in Emberdark.
His god is the only shard to have ever performed the...
And we got that cut off, so...
Oh, boy. Ed performed the... What? Ed performed the what?
Performed the redacted.
I think the rest of that sentence says the Harlem Shake. And
yes.
No one ever believes
he made an avatar just for that. The avatar of the Harlem Shake. You can't do this,
guys.
Do you think that line, while we're just on the topic of Sazed, do we think that means Sazed is alive in Space Age? Because that's what that kind of implied to me.
I think yes, and also because the Khandra were released, like not super long before Tress, I assume, from service.
Unclear, because Hoyt says they've been weird ever since Sazed released them, but I didn't get an impression on like how long ago that release was. They could have been weird for 1,000 years.
But in Lost Metal, the Khandra were not released, right? Because Milan went on the mission. Basically, yeah, okay.
She explicitly did that mission for Harmony.
Yeah.
My heart says yes, because I want Sazed to live happily ever after, forever. I could very much see a storyline, and this is just based on imagining where this could go, but I could very easily see a storyline where you have Sazed release the Khandra right before he passes. As kind of like a final, thank you to them, and a final I don't want this to happen to you guys anymore. I could very much see that being a very heartbreaking scene there. But it could also go a completely different direction.
Or the releasing could be right before he switches to Discord or something, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
I think Cosmere Endgame is Retribution versus the shard that is Sazed.
That makes sense.
I wonder if we're gonna see a flip from Harmony to Discord to like whatever the true mix of ruin and like a balanced mixture of
the correct
the shard of Zen.
Yes.
I could also see Kelsier taking over Preservation and Marsh taking over Rune.
Ooh.
That's a theory I've had for a little bit.
That would be cool.
That's
I am also
observation.
in camp. I don't want anything bad to happen to Sazed long term.
Mm.
Although Brandon has gotten tired of vessels before.
I mean,
You
maybe
know.
the headline is he's the only shard to have ever performed the dropping the relinquishing of his shards.
Perhaps.
I
And
mean,
then he
that
goes in.
yeah, because I don't think we've seen that
Yeah.
before, right? So he could maybe give them up and be like, yeah, I couldn't hold on to these or something.
I guess you can make an argument for Kelsier, but I don't think he counts.
No, I don't think that counts.
Yeah, no.
He didn't like fully ascend or whatever. Like kind of, but he was a bad match for that.
The shard didn't stick with him as well
Yeah.
as.
Sorry, I just keep thinking about the Hero of Ages epigraph where it's talking about the well as the attuning force, and I keep wanting to bring this conversation to that because we have no idea what that means. Will we ever know what that means? I don't know. Probably
I don't know.
not,
It's,
but-
it's some like proto connection stuff. Man.
Sure,
I don't know.
yeah. Cool. Well, I don't know how much we're gonna talk about Discord beyond here. Presumably we'll have to, read the book.
And find out.
I think we're going to be
that.
talking about Discord for the next decade. So
So see you in 2031. Like it's
Gonna take
2030.
5
If they're
seconds.
yearly and starting in 2028, it'd be 2029 and then 2030. So that's just 5 years. 5 years ago was 2020. So we'll just
Yeah.
blink and it'll be 2030, guys.
Yeah. 5 years ago, we were all locked in our houses.
Yeah, I had a lot
Yeah.
more time to edit Shardcast. That was nice. That was real nice, actually. So talking about happier things other than our pending mortality with, time and things. Let's talk about the signing, because
I don't
Ayven's-
think there is much to talk here.
well, I think it's fun that they're going to a convention and they're going to like it. I like it a lot, and Ayven's going to see someone. It was not clear who, and that he had to travel from. I don't know. Unclear.
Oh yeah, and that's right. Okay, so one of the things that I've seen is the idea that this person has to travel from far. They're probably not going to be back ever again. I guess it's he. He's not going to be back ever again. And so there was this idea that and this is a Spacer Con. So is that what does Spacer Con mean? Is this a like a pop culture convention dedicated to space things?
Sure.
Didn't the newsletter say something about this being inspired by like a Star Trek?
Did it say that?
That sounds really familiar.
We're
No, it's
deep
not the-
in the.
I feel like it's the graphic of the newsletter, a Star Trek inspired sci-fi convention. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay, great, cool.
Yeah, it says flying cars, 1980s schedule. I don't like that phrasing. A Star Trek inspired sci-fi
It's marketing.
convention.
It's marketing. Don't worry about it.
I understand that. I don't like it. So what I was gonna say is that there has been some debate about, is this a convention like a pop culture convention, or is it like a NASA, something dedicated to going to space? It sounds like it's like a Star Trek convention,
Yeah.
right?
Which is
Okay, cool.
objectively more fun.
So this person that Ayven wants to see is some kind of a celebrity, probably
Sure.
like an
William
actor
Shatner
or a writer
something.
or something like that. Okay, so because people were wondering if this is like someone from off-world coming,
Could still be possible.
it could be possible.
Where are
yeah.
the acting jobs? Scadrial.
That's why there's so many tourists.
It's Theater Row.
Theater Row.
I was
but
thinking,
I think
Yeah.
it's just like someone from like the edge of the basin or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
I think most likely it is just someone who doesn't live in Ellendale a ways away.
Mm.
But it would be really fun if it were an off-worlder who had experience traveling through space. It's like, ooh, I got an idea. Kind of like how
I can play
the
this role so good.
broadsheets.
Yes.
The broadsheets had stories that were embellishments of actual adventures people went on. So that could be a lot of fun.
I like that.
I like how it's set up as the signing is in 30 minutes too. From
That's
when she's
crazy.
there.
That's
there's
wild.
There's an immediate push. Like, we gotta go. We gotta move. Like, let's go.
You're going to be in the back of the line.
Yeah,
Like-
no, Ayven girl,
He's going to be
can't
so
show-
tired. You can't get the wobs when it's that late.
you cannot show up to a convention 30 minutes before the start of the signing and expect to get in the signing. Come on.
Like,
What are you doing?
I love the pressure that puts on the scene, though. Just like
For sure.
thinking about the construction of the scene. This is so fun because here she is going through the back door. She's got 30 minutes to go to this person who probably has a massive line, and she's got to push through the crowds. Like, there's just there's a lot of pressure in this scene, and it's great.
No, it's good. It's just like, girl, you're clearly getting distracted here.
I definitely picked up. There was the phrasing. I have to be at that signing, she thought, with unusual force. And that stands out to me. It could just be, how it's phrased. But it's like, why does she feel so strongly that she has to be at the signing?
Yeah, it does feel like there is more than just, I really want to meet the Skadri and Brandon Sanderson or whatever.
Maybe it's like she is more reserved, and the ticket booth woman is just like totally misreading her, because she does seem pretty shy, admittedly. And so she's like, no, this is the time where I'm the protagonist of this book. I'm getting in there, for once in my life. I'm going to do it, rather than just let things slide by. I don't know.
And then there's also, he wouldn't give up, I wouldn't give up, which is like, okay, what is this person signing not giving up on?
Sure.
Or is this a character in the book she's talking about, if it's about a book, or character in a movie, or whatever?
Yeah.
And then I like I know my orders were to stand down, but I choose to stand up instead.
I don't think that's
like,
a reference to Words of Founding, so that must be a reference to whatever pop culture thing she's talking about, right?
It also sounds very much like the girl who stood up.
Okay.
I
Okay.
will connect everything to this story, just so you know.
That would be hilarious if the author was Hoyd. He's like, I got a new gig on Skadriel writing science fiction. We got Paladin Tempest chosen. He's here in our books.
No, you're not gonna nail Hoyd down to a writing desk. He's all about the spoken word. We know that.
The captain of the starship in the Star Trek thing. It's just Hoyd.
Surprise.
Hey, what's up? That would be one way for him to inflict violence, is he's in a fake show.
There you go.
And he could give the command, which I don't think he would be able to do. All right, everyone. We are leaving the north and going to the southern continent, which is connected to the northern continent, but we don't need to get into that right now. So we're going to the south. We're talking about Bastrik. And, there's masks, so they're clearly, in the Empire, presumably the Malwish Empire, I would assume, is what they're calling it now, given Emperor
I guess at this point, there's nothing else.
Yeah, right. But let's first talk about the setting, because we have overhead, the sun was comfortably hot, each breath was humid and thick, the air full with its own invisible blood, unlike the cold lands to the north. What? I thought that they needed the heat medallions to stay warm. That doesn't seem to be the case for this, so I'm very confused what he's talking about and where he is in relation to anywhere on the map.
So my assumption is that he's in the southern continent, but close to the equator. Most of the Malwish Consortium is a little farther down. I mean, I think
Is
it
it,
is.
though? Is
Let's
it though?
pull up,
Let's look at this
map.
Immediately looking at the map.
Okay.
And we don't know where the equator is on this, right? On this world map.
No, I think we do.
Do we?
Because the map of the basin has markers for latitude.
Okay.
And we have mapped those.
Let's see. I'm seeing one from Reddit, which I don't necessarily trust because it's got Elendel on the
Like
equator.
Isaac is
there's
incorrect.
this guy. I don't know if that's going to work very well.
Yeah,
so-
I'll put it on screen. Yeah, so on the
Sure.
world map, notably, the latitude lines or whatever don't go through the basin, and so it's not clear necessarily where the equator is.
Oh, okay. We have a thing from Rashara.
Oh yeah, where's the equator?
Yeah. The equator is the line that goes through the middle of the label that says Sea of Elendel. Sea of, not Elendel. What does it say? Hold up. This is,
Gilmand?
oh my God. Sea of, hold up. Yes, Sea of Lennis. The
That's
image,
crazy.
the image on Arcanum, this is from Dragonsteel 2022.
Okay,
The image on Arcanum is just very small, and so I could see Sea of, what does it say? But yes, the equator runs through the like just south of the southern islands.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So that's what the world map one is. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, first of all, it's wild that Elendel is that close to the equator. That's crazy to me, even still. But whatever, that's fine. Yeah, so you're just thinking, like, this Bastrik is, like, at the northern end of, like, the northern continent, so, like, the southernmost part of the Sea of Lens, maybe?
So either that or where the end of the consortium label, like where the IUM is,
Okay.
maybe he is, somewhere there.
Sure.
Because when I look at the world map, or, what we have of it,
Yeah.
it looks like there is a mountain range that is, so where the label of Lost Doriel is, that kind of extends southwest into a mountain range. So I figure if that's a tall enough mountain range, people just probably don't live there. And so most of the population of the Maoish Consortium would be
South of that mountain range.
South of that. But
Sure.
if Bastrik is like tucked in the eastern side of that, where there are little to no mountains, that might be close enough to the equator that it is comfortably hot for him.
Yeah, I guess. If they're saying, oh, in the north, it's cold. Elendel Basin, not that far from the equator. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, how was it so cold for them in most other places? Like, yeah, sure, the southerner part of the southern continent, fine. But, like, I feel like there would be plenty of places where it would be fine. Welcome to Shardcast, everyone, where we're talking about the Scadrial world map, and we will continue to do so for many years to come, and be confused.
If we're talking about it's cold in the north, too, that almost makes me want to think that they're in the northern hemisphere.
They can't be in the northern hemisphere, though.
But they can't be. Exactly.
These guys got to be in the south.
But, like, it's cold in the north. Unless we're talking about the mountains, it's cold.
I think he means it's cold in the basin.
Yeah, I think that's what the implication was.
Yeah,
right?
So...
I don't know.
He does mention that he's traveled among them. So that's another point in the camp of Elendel Basin being what he's referring to as the north.
Mm-hmm.
Mountains could be valid as well. That mountain range of Lost Doral is, it's a east to west mountain range. So if you are south of that, mountains to the north being cold. But yeah, the whole north being cold is very strange for someone who lives at the equator and whose majority of their known civilization is in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. And also the majority of their time desperately being cold and needing special things to stay warm.
Unless we want to bring in...
Mm-hmm.
Unless we want to talk about how ocean currents affect climate, too.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm sure that's very well world built here for Scadrial. I don't know.
Perhaps not for this episode.
Okay, I don't know. I think where this is weird. I don't know. I'm confused. But clearly he's in the countryside. We know that. The market is close, and there's buses for other travel, so they clearly have tech. It's always interesting because I think we've always felt that the Southerners had more of the Magitech, right, than the North, right? Because they've just had to struggle, and so they've had a lot of innovation with the technology. Now the North has flying cars, so I would imagine the South has a lot going on. So, I mean, them having buses is not surprising, of course. That's fine.
And we are also probably somewhere out in the boonies. Sounds like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so the what we are seeing here is not going to be the peak of Maoish technology.
Yeah.
Countryside does sound lovely, though, aside from the humidity.
I don't like that.
The garden, the babbling brook, the market is walkable. You don't need a private vehicle. Buses, the American mind of mine is blown. I love it so much.
All the people in Bilming with their big thoroughfares and stuff that felt very American in Lost Metal time.
Yeah.
They're losing it from Bastrik. They hate Bastrik and his countryside.
Basinites, or what Ellen Delish, whatever. God, what did Lost Metal call people from the basin?
Did they even have a name?
Basinites is great.
They're Ellendale Basiners.
Is that really the final version?
That's what I remember. That's what I called them for a long time.
Is that true?
No, that cannot be true.
Please tell me I'm wrong.
You were wrong. Basiner does not appear in the book.
Yes, I'm wrong.
I know what the original beta version was, and it was not good. And I know it got changed.
I don't think in Lost Metal we had a name for them. I don't get Basiner or Basinite. I'm not getting anything on this.
No, because it's not
where I
it's not
pulled that from.
It is not based on Basin. It is based on Ellendale.
Oh God. Well, I'm never gonna find it then. Whatever.
Because the original was Elendi.
That's awesome, actually.
I kind of like that, actually.
It was nice until you realize that it's going to confuse people with Alendi for the rest of existence.
Yeah, but he's dead. Who cares?
That's the fun part.
That's the fun part. I like that. I don't even remember this being in Lost Metal. I'll be honest.
It was.
Anyway, let's just continue. It's fine.
The residents of the basin are the direct descendants of the people who survived the Catasandra, known as the originators.
No, it's in the Lost Metal.
Well, it's not Basiners, which is good, because I do think that's dumb, and I don't know where I pulled it from, so I'm glad I'm wrong.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Bastrik.
Okay, let's talk about Bastrik while I search my ebook.
Okay, cool. You can just search Ellendale and just go down the
That is literally what I'm doing.
Very good. Good.
I've done this.
How many mentions of Ellendale can there be in a single book? Come on.
It's how many times is Roshar mentioned in a Stormlight book? Or Surge, or Spren. So Bastrik and his daughter are really cute. I'd say they're really adorable. At least me in my writing, I have trouble writing children, but this seemed very believable. I liked that. So Brandon's got the dad energy down here.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, Yara was great.
He did a really good job of characterizing Bastrik, too, by surrounding him with the family members and the garden. It really paints a good picture of his character.
Yeah, and it seems like this entire scene, guys, I could not... As soon as the flying car came down, I'm like, this is the opening scene of Rogue One. It just is. And then the wife's like, oh, you can't go back, right? And it's like, oh, okay. Are the Malwish building a Death Star? They are the Empire. So, hey. But I don't think we're doing that in this book. But it is very funny to see the parallels there. Yeah, we can't do another time skip and have Yara become Jinner. So, 15 years from now. But it's very funny.
And then she becomes Ayven somehow.
Sure.
Somehow Ayven returned.
That's how that works.
Somehow Ayven returned. Very good. Very good.
Somehow Rashek has returned.
Ooh, I'd be into that, though.
That would be funny.
I liked how we got a reference of the Sovereign immediately. I love that.
And somebody else, too. I don't know who this new character is associated with the Sovereign. The Sovereign and his Regent? Uh-huh. I mean, obviously,
Shrug.
Sovereign, Kel.
Shrug.
So the immediate vibe I get from that is someone is jumping into a position to kind of take the power that is in survivorism.
Why did I just think it was Spook? I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes
but
sense.
Spook's been around. He may have been with many Southerners as well. That's very possible. Seems like he got around. They were obviously doing hemalurgy experiments, and Kelsier got his body back. So clearly they're doing stuff in the South. And so I think Spook could easily be the Sovereign's Regent.
That makes sense.
Elenders is what they're called.
Oh God, that's awful. I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. I had no recollection that this was canonized in Lost Metal.
How many clicks does it take to get to the right answer? Or the answer at the center of the book?
Yeah, how many instances of Elendel did you need to get through?
No, so Elendel didn't give me a hit because it's not Elendellers or anything like that. It is Elenders, and so so I had to search for Elend and then any number of characters and exclude Elendel explicitly.
Oh, okay. Look at you, fancy pants. Cool. Could the Regent be Marsh? Marsh was probably down there. But I don't know.
I can't imagine either Spook or Marsh is acting as a surrogate leader to the Maoish Empire. I think it's...
So it could be a Southerner that Kelsier befriended, maybe, and was one of the first people he gave the
or it could be,
or something.
Is it literally called Regent when the heir to the throne is too young, and so you have
yeah.
Another. So it could be like that, but obviously not about youth. But the Sovereign just goes missing every couple of months, and so there is either an appointed or an elected government official who is the Regent.
Well, I think in this context, right, the joy of a child was for all to see, a blessing from the Sovereign and his Regent. The Regent seems like it's a mythological figure, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
A religious or cultural figure, and not the current political leader, right? Maybe it was the original political leader, right? And that's mythologized, maybe.
Yeah,
I like it.
Maybe
we're one paragraph in. This is good.
Yeah,
Kelsey's I gotta go. I am leaving you with a guy, though. Here's the guy.
Here's my guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that does sound like a very Kelsier thing to do. So he's I gotta go back. I got stuff to do.
I can definitely, in that case, I can definitely buy the idea that it's, someone that Kelsier befriended, or, he pulled a Vin in the South. He went to the South and it'd be fun. When we see the copper, the coin memory of him, and he goes and saves someone and survive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that person just gets adopted by him and eventually becomes...
Sure.
That'd be a fun way to tie it back to...
Yeah.
To Era 2.
Yeah.
What do we want to talk about here? They're very cute. I don't have too much to say. I'm wondering what Bastrik's previous allegiance was. I like how the grandfathers were black Grandpa Black Mask, Grandpa White Mask. Like, that's cute.
I love how Yara puts the snake in the kitchen. I think that's hilarious.
Yes. And your mother will have my mask if you do that again.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that phrasing. I love in-world phrasing.
Yes.
Just whenever.
We've just never been in the South much, and so it is really fun to see that, because we've all just seen it from, our Era 2 crew and not in a Southerner POV, really.
This made me realize just how starved we are for information about the Malwish and where they live. Because mask lines, different masks. This is amazing.
Anything.
And it's like literally the bare minimum for cultural.
Just like, they have masks and stuff, but it's like, we're just so parched in the desert. It's like, yes, Grandpa Black Mask, thank you. Yes.
We got beetles down there. That's crazy.
There's beetles? Whoa.
We have animals.
That's
They eat
crazy.
food?
He's gardening.
We have the children.
Well, before we go to the children, I am interested in kind of the idea that the two grandparents have different masks and there are different mask lines. That reads to me like families or clans or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is, it's not a revelation or anything, but it's an interesting bit of culture.
And that not everyone has the same practices and beliefs regarding how the masks are to be worn. Bastrik mentions that there are wrong ways to wear the mask in his travels that he's learned about. So,
well, I think that's just. I think what he's talking about is a leak told us that there were five nations to the south.
Yeah.
And it is all now presumably the Malwish Empire, but Malwish was only one of those tribes or nations or whatever kingdoms, and they all have different cultures and traditions, and one of those differences has to do with the masks. We know there is a land way down south that is labeled as the Maskless. We don't know if those are included into 5 or not, but it sounds like they're not.
Or if they're incorporated into the Empire in Era 3.
By this point,
right?
Yeah.
We have no idea.
We know that Alik wears the mask like the way that we see him wear it, right? Which is very similar to Leonor, in that both of them often would wear their mask down and would just kind of raise it for emphasis.
Yeah.
But then we have the people that we know as hunters, who seem to be kind of the same people that at least Yatil and Dlavil are culturally, where the mask is like it merges with their face, almost merges with their face grows around them. So that's my interpretation. Different Southerner nations have different traditions around what kind of mask they wear and how they wear them. And when Bastrik and other people were traveling, these foreigners, they wear their masks wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not wrong, right? It is just...
I mean, that's how I interpreted it as well. I just thought it was interesting that there's, even within these different cultures, there are different tribes and ways to wear the mask differently within that culture.
Oh, okay. I don't think I got that, but it certainly seems reasonable to...
Yeah, I really liked the line that it's like, they were wearing it wrong. Or maybe Bastrik was the one who was wrong. I like that.
A little self-reflection.
I mean, that's the whole thing with culture, right? That, people do things differently, and, it might be weird to you, but it's ultimately, arbitrary. Who cares? It's just,
they're all wrong.
Yeah, obviously, you personally, you listening, you're doing it right, buddy. We're doing it wrong, but you listening, you got it. That's right. Yeah, so definitely hunter lore. I don't know how much of the beetles are relevant to anything necessarily.
I'm gonna keep a note on this Beetle story, and I will revisit it when we have the entire book.
It does seem like there's probably some foreshadowing. Like that does sound like the thing Brandon would do.
It seems a little allegorical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With an imposter beetle and being careful whom you kill.
Yeah, and the whole story with the berries, which Simberry, by the way, guys, is apparently a Rosharan thing. I don't think Brandon necessarily remembered that for this, because this is early alpha, and I don't think it's gone through like any continuity at all. And
I mean, when he was talking about this at Worldcon, he was like, "My company hasn't read any of this
like
just
almost
yet."
no one. Yeah. So I don't expect it is actually Rosharan. I think Brandon just was reusing a word, as he can do. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't match the description of Simberries in Way of Kings or Rhythm of War, because it doesn't mention anything about bitter, and that's what this seemed to be about. I did like how both the grandpa and the neighbor were both wrong. Like that was a fun story. It's like, well, focus on the important things, not like the small details. We would never focus on the small details on this show, guys, and miss
Never.
the important details.
Not on this show.
No.
Not in a million years.
I don't think this is allegorical at all. I don't think it's relevant to any of us.
Tune in to our other podcast in which we do focus on the details in ways we wouldn't even dream on this show.
Oh, God. Those episodes are 6 hours long.
Legend has it that the episode is still going on this very day.
That's when we literally go line by line of every single book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adam thinks that the Two Neighbors story might be either a small reference or foreshadowing potentially for the Harmony Discord dichotomy. Kind of the idea that two perspectives on the same thing, and they are both correct in some ways and they're both wrong in some ways. I don't know if we can predict anything out of that, but I suspect that anytime we see opposing, these two things are the same, but they're also the opposite. We are going to be looking at those Harmony/Discord flags and going, is this relevant?
Is this eyeing this very carefully?
Yeah.
Yes.
Adam also brought up with the Beatles, just talking about this, that the Beatles are possibly foreshadowing either Bastrik's backstory or what he's going to be doing in this book. And it's a really interesting sentence here is, these we kill, but always be careful. You actually know what you think you know. I think that's going to be that feels like it's going to be a very interesting, maybe a twist later down the line.
Do you think there might be some secrets and then some more secrets, and so you might not know what you think you know, and then there are secrets that reveal what is going on, maybe?
That's a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
That's a lot of secrets, like secret after secret.
I don't know. Maybe there were 3 trilogies outlined from the beginning, and Brandon has all those secrets. The core secrets, like he just has the list.
Having more secrets feels like, sounds familiar.
There's got to be a concise way to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah,
it's like always one more secret.
Yeah.
That sounds close.
Yeah,
always the next secret.
We'll workshop.
Always the next secret.
I mean, you did refer to what Bastrik is doing in the book. We don't know much, but I did want to talk that we had Dlavil show up. Whoa. Which, if you don't remember who Dlavil is, that's Eotil's brother. And Dlavil in Lost Metal, he was kind of lurking for most of the book, but then we got his name in the epilogue. And Dlavil did not like that Kelsier let Marasi go and thought she would be a problem because she knows too much. I guess the fun thing with it being 50 years is Marasi could totally be alive, and I really hope she is.
I think that's very likely. I think both Marasi and Steris are. They have a chance of being around.
Yes. So good. But then in Wind and Truth, we don't have Dlavil's name, but Kelsier says to Shallan, I doubt Eotil's brother will insist on coming to seek vengeance against you immediately. He's more likely going to try and break away from me, so I might have a little civil war on my hands. If his agents do arrive on Roshar, they'll be your enemies.
When I ran into this quote, I just about fell over when I was trying to, figure out who Dlavil was, what we had on him, and I ran into this one. I just lost my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just with Kelsier talking about what we might come to expect for the series.
That does sound like foreshadowing for the next thing. Like that.
Exactly.
That is very plausible. That's what Brandon's doing in Wind and Truth, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's basically all we know of him, really. Like he's also from Silverlight like Eotil, right? Presumably.
Yeah. And I mean, in this book, we do learn more about what he's up to. This chapter, oh my gosh. We learn a little bit about what he's doing. He's an assemblyman, a politician with a cult-like following. Go ahead.
Oh, just thinking about, Kelsier and his crew and Kelsier making cults and Dlavil's like, maybe I'll make my own cult. That sounds like a good idea, actually. That worked well. Let's do that again.
If he broke away from Kelsier's Ghostbloods, let's imagine, he might want to channel some of that energy, that religious zeal. So that's delightful. It says here, Assemblyman Dlavil wore a mask unlike any that Bastrik had encountered in his travels. It was a unique style of mask that he and his guards wore, and a small but growing cult around him preferred. A mask you could not raise, as it seemed to be grown into the flesh itself, with the mouth cut out so you could eat. Which does sound like what the Hunters' masks have been described as, like growing into the skin. So it's new here.
But that's a little. Maybe this hasn't gone through continuity. Like it's possible.
This for sure has not gone through continuity.
So that might. Yeah, because I did think the hunter masks, they were grown into the skin, but
and there might be like subtle differences that exist, but
so that's fun. He's a politician.
I'm calling it now that he's running the Discordance.
Ooh, okay, all right. I like that, and it's a cult, and that's the Discordant cult, basically.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
That ties it together.
I like that. I mean, he didn't seem nice in Lost Metal, I will say. And Eotil and Dlavil, I don't think they're going to be friendly,
No.
Clearly, they're going to grab Bastrik to go work on the Death Star plans, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We got to give Scadrial an actual moon, guys. That's what they want.
And then we can have someone tell us that it's no moon.
But the Scadrians wouldn't even know that. They'd need an off-worlder to say that.
No.
But I mean, it is Mistborn Ghostbloods, so that's fine. We'll have off-worlders. Yeah, so Dlavil, what a swell guy. Yeah. Oh, this is crazy in the outline. I completely forgot that Eotil was once part of the 17th Shard. That's wild. I didn't remember this, but I did look, and there is a WAB from the Oathbringer release party, which is before we did WAB episodes, so that's probably why I don't remember it. But there you go. I don't know if Dlavil would have been in the 17th Shard, but I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't need to be, right? He and his sister can follow different paths.
Well, I'm sure everything will go fine with them, right? I'm sure it'll be fine.
So the Hunters, and not talking KPDH Hunters,
sure,
are Bastrik's mask line, and apparently there's a WAP about their heritage. Eotil and Dlavil they're related to the Hunters as well, potentially. This group is really interesting. Bands of Mourning has warriors in the time before the freezing. Now they hunt for answers to what happened to us and the secrets to making it never happen again, which I think is extremely interesting. So maybe an anti-shard faction, even. Especially if we consider that you've got Dlavil and Util being a part of, or going to Silverlight, being part of the 17th Shard. It implies that they're actually making progress and getting information about what happened, and potentially looking to do something.
I don't know how culturally Hunter the two siblings are, just because they were lighters. Like they were born in Silverlight. They're not just like a pair of Southerners who went off world, right? So they've had families there. It's possible that those families kept up with the tradition. In fact, it's possible that their great grandparents went off world and found their way to Silverlight in search of those answers.
Yeah, for sure.
That we get here. But I don't know how much, like, Yato doesn't feel like someone who is doing this for her cultural heritage.
Yeah, she had her own goals.
Yeah. It is, the thing that is interesting to me here is how much this philosophy kind of aligns with Kelsier. The idea of knowing about the greater stage of the Cosmere and being able to do something to prevent kind of the planetary consequences that come with playing on that stage. And it's framed a little bit differently, right? It's more about knowledge here, but there's a significant overlap.
I mean, that might be why they gravitated towards the messaging of the Ghostbloods to begin with. That Kelsier did have these secrets that he's willing to share with the people in the in-group. But I think the main difference there is Kelsier, he wants to have the information. He wants to know the secrets, but he's also a bit of a gatekeeper in regards of sharing that information. And it seems to me like the motivation for these hunters is more of just finding the information and probably sharing it. I don't know for certain, but if it's an entire group, culture of people trying to find this information. But yeah, they do align quite well, especially with the Ghostbloods.
Definitely makes me wonder how much Dlavil is using, like, all the information he's accrued being in the Ghostbloods to his advantage here, and maybe giving, like, it wouldn't be hard to see how a cult could build around him when he just knows so much, right?
Yeah.
And like you could imagine like some group of hunters, and he's like, oh yeah, I know the secrets. I'll tell you what's up.
Yeah, it seems likely.
Fun. We have any other thoughts with Bastrik here?
I just want to know what he did before settling down in the countryside that would warrant the ship from Rogue One descending on his homestead. Hey man, we need your particular set of skills. We need you to come back. Alone.
It's 100% that, right? Like there's something that he was very good at, right?
Wasn't there an assassination attempt talked about in Emberdark?
But that was way later.
It was that was a sleepless. Well, it was not a sleepless. It was framed as I'm wrong about that, but that's later.
Yeah, it was way later. It was the Malwish Prime Minister. It was political dissidents, I think, and Chrysalis was blamed, I think. Yeah, but anyway, way later. So we don't need to worry about that here. But I mean, the Malwish Empire will be in existence, so that's maybe slightly concerning.
Should I save my tinfoil hat theory for another time?
No, let's say it. I think we're kind of wrapping.
Do you want the unhinged theory here?
Let's do it.
I'm so ready.
Little unhinged theory here is that the hunter beetles are actually sleepless. So you got to tell the hunter beetles apart.
No. Yeah. Sure.
That is a fun aluminum foil hat theory.
Any other thoughts about these? Any theories for Ghostbloods now that we have a bit of a taste for this first book here?
When are the Lord Ruler's children showing up?
I can't tell if I would be so mad about it or really excited. I don't think they're going to show up, though. I don't think they're going to show up. Brandon clearly didn't care about the Lord Ruler's kids the last time we talked about it.
Chekhov's wob, though. It's got to happen.
No,
I don't think
it really does not.
Trust me, his facial expressions when I talked to him at like this, I think we last talked about that at the Skyward San Francisco signing, and he's like, but like they just fade it into history as people do. Like there's no way. I mean, I would like the lore about that.
Yeah.
No theories from me, but I do want to highlight just how comfortable getting back to Scadrial felt.
Yes.
The world, I mean, obviously we never knew anything about the South, so who cares about Bastrik? But the Ayven chapter or partial chapter that we got, it felt like a weird mixture between Era 1 in tone in a weird way, and Era 2 in setting, but it married those in a way that just felt really comfortable to slip back into.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very much looking forward to more of that.
Very much kind of a welcome home feeling.
It definitely reminded me of the first time I read Alloy, where I'm like, oh, Scadrial! Oh, this is fun! Oh, let's see how things evolved! Oh, that's so fun! That's kind of that same impression that I have here, where I'm like, okay, I don't really know what's going on, but I'm interested to find out. That's good.
I'm excited. I'm just looking forward to more Mistborn, more like of that length Mistborn Era 1.
Absolutely.
It'll be good. I'm excited. More Ghostblood lore. I think setting up for intergalactic conflict will be fun. I'm just hyped, and I am also scared at how long I'll have to wait for this and then the next arc of the Stormlight archive. But yeah, so excited.
Well, you can be on the show when we're significantly older. When
there's always another book. Always the next book.
Yeah, I'm excited for Discord stuff. This book doesn't have a title, just Ghostblood 1 for now, but if Discord was in the title of the book, I would be very interested.
Too early.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon probably, I don't know. But, like, the Era 1 book names, like, I really like the Era 1 book names. The Era 2 book names are a little, like, sometimes more metaphorical. Sometimes it's just the name of the MacGuffin, the Pants of Mourning. Hey, there you go. That's what the book's about.
Yeah,
but like, Alloy and Shadows, a little more esoteric. So I would wonder what the book would be called, but I'm just that moment when Sazed goes full Discord, guys. I do think we're going to see it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I don't think we've seen it yet, but
I wonder
cool.
if that would be like a book climax moment.
Yeah,
so
probably.
I am free kind of equivalent.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to be an Act 2 finale of one of the books. Because the end of Act 2 is often a significant downturn.
Sure. Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, if we think it's going to follow Era 1 pacing, which I don't know why we would assume that just off rip, but, you know, first book is just a self-contained story setting up the characters in the world. Book 2 introduces the Shardic conflict at the end,
Cosmic
and then
scale.
book 3 is the resolution thereof.
Yeah, I think in our Era 3 prediction episode, we were saying how, like, book 1 could be more Cold War-y, and then, like, that expands as the Shardic conflict expands as we go along in the trilogy. Doesn't seem... we don't really know the details of the Cold War situation politically with what we have so far, but I could see it being, like, maybe the first book the Cold War becomes less cold and is more hot. We're dealing with that in book 2 as we're transitioning into the Shardic conflict, maybe. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brandon won't want to have it be too close to Era 1 in like structure, like just meaning like how the pacing goes with like, I don't think book 2 can end with like another I am free moment because we'll be expecting it. And so like he'll need to do something different somehow. But who's to say? We haven't had one of these proper trilogies from Brandon in a long time. So who's to say what his grand plan is? No Mistborn serial killer now. So that's out. We already did that. No Alan Mansour SWAT team. Anywho, wow. We did get through this base stuff in actually a fairly timely manner. That's crazy. Wow. 2 short scenes and still full episodes.
3 pages or whatever.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Cool. So I think let's head on over to who's that Cosmere character?
This character is from Roshar.
Menace, Tien,
Tom,
Raise,
Void in drag on a horse.
It's time for Who's That Cosmere Character? Caw. Welcome to Who's That Cosmere Character, the game show where you send 5 clues into character to wtcc at 17shard.com. I read each clue aloud, and after each clue, these guys have a chance to guess who's that Cosmere character. Jason, I see you have a friend.
Oh yeah, this is a crab dragon, a Larkin. It's it's gonna help me with these stormlight questions and remove any light weavings you throw my way. To obscure.
Cool. Well, you know, I like to put on a good show at for the game show part, so you know, no light weavings here.
It's gonna eat your overlays.
Ooh, that's a nightmare. Cool. So this one is sent in by Uluvara.
Once again.
Yes. Clue 1. This character had no children.
Well, in the spirit of this episode, say that.
It's not say said. Hey, there you go.
Vin.
Not Vin.
I'll take Elend then.
It's not Elend. All right, clue 2. This character practically raised a main character.
Kelsier?
It's not Kelsier.
Practically raised a main character.
Yes.
Like from the dead?
The character is God, actually.
I'm gonna go with Vasher.
It's not Vasher. I like that too.
Yeah, I was thinking about Vasher too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, what was the situation with Rayoden's family?
What about
his
them?
father? His father was his biological dad. Was his mother adoptive?
I think she might have been.
I'm gonna boldly guess Rayoden's stepmom.
Oh, Queen Eshin.
Ishin, yeah.
But I'm not going to pronounce it aeonically. You know I'm not going to do that. No, it's not. It's not her. Clue 3. This character faked their own death and someone else's.
What was the first clue?
The first clue is this character had no children.
No children, practically raised the main character, faked their own death and someone else's.
Yes.
I was going to guess Chana, and that so doesn't work.
No, I don't think so. But do you want to guess her anyway?
Nope.
Okay.
I feel like this clue should help me a lot, but it's not.
Yeah, right?
I mean, there's only so many main characters in the Cosmere. That it feels like we should be able to narrow this down much faster than we are.
Well, we could play which one is the main character first.
Right?
What is
Like,
a main
it's
character?
a double up.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, no kids. Practically raised a main character.
Uh-huh.
Faked their own death. And someone
else.
else's.
Yes.
Was it... Oh, Wax's uncle?
Is that your guess?
If I can remember his name, but yes.
I mean, that's
If it is-
specific enough.
Yeah, Edward.
Yes.
It is Edward. Yeah, there we go. I was like, man, like, this is so clear here from those 3 clues.
Hold up. I think we may have had this one before.
I don't know about that. and I don't know if I can check. So
Because I can swear fake their own death and someone else's has been a clue for Edward. What are the other clues?
Well, send your angry Discord messages to the Gator Girl 00 on Discord, because she's the one who sent it to me, because I actually don't have access to the Who's That Cosmere Character email. They have to send it to me from there. So I don't know what to tell you, but it is Edwarn.
Tell me the rest of the clues.
All right. The clue 4 is this character had a reputation as a gambler. And clue 5, this character is better known by their clothing.
Yep, 100% we've had that.
Well,
in the past 3 months.
Well, I did recognize Uluvara, but sorry everyone else. So anyway, send your angry messages to Grace. All right. Well, this next one is I can confirm we have not done this one before.
Okay.
So, because this one is from our Who's That Cosmere Character priority queue. And so you can support our Patreon at patreon.com/17shard for as little as $1 a month. If you want to vote on what cool art we commission every month and see all our outtakes, all our special stuff, just $1 a month. Of course, Jason, most well known for now being a patron of 17 Shard, which is true.
That is his brand now.
Benefit from the art you guys commission and the copper mines so much with the the references. It would be wrong for me not to.
There you go. I like that. Look, the website hosting costs do go up, and the copper mine is being constantly hammered by AI bot scrapers and things. So it's actually awful. So we constantly actually need to. Our costs for the copper mine have definitely gone up over the last 2 years. That's for sure.
Well, after this episode, I'm going to go post the September art poll.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to date this episode by saying that it's September 1st.
This is going to be the next episode. So it will be, you can vote now.
No,
if you listen to it.
Because that only lasts a week.
Oh, well, never mind.
The poll's going to be, so you're not going to be able to vote on the September
You're not going to be able to vote. Okay, well,
but
great.
You are going to be able to check out the results and know what piece of Ember Dark art we are commissioning for September. And
if you support us at the $10 a month tier, you can submit things to the Who's That Cosmere Character priority queue, where I will not say duplicate things that we've already done, unless I forget to delete the line on the spreadsheet, which has happened before. But that's
things
fine.
Just like this one.
Yes, and this one is from Evelyn Basham. And clue 1, this character is from Roshar. Classic.
Lady Leshwi.
It is not Leshwi.
I'll take Cherry Cherry.
It's not Cherry Cherry. Nice. Good. Would Jason have been so mad if it was Cherry Cherry?
Come on. right here. Little guy. Is it Baxel?
It is not Baxel. Ooh. Clue 2. This character has a deep understanding of self.
Stick.
It is Stick. Very
I
good.
can smell shenanigans from a mile away.
The heralds, they do like to pull shenanigans. I have skipped some heralds where there are some deep shenanigans, and so I will need to eventually use those, but I thought this shenanigan would be good. So indeed, it is Stick. Clue 3, this character refused to be invested. Clue 4, through a spokesperson, this character argued with a main character and won. And clue 5, this character's part may have been small, but their words have not been forgotten by the fandom. And
cursed.
Indeed. I like how in Bookborn's video where she's talking to authors, Brandon was one of them. She was asking, what's a character that that the fandom just really got attached to? And he said Stick. So it probably didn't help that he posted a joke interlude Stick. That probably, if you didn't want that to be a thing, maybe don't do that. But hey, that's just encouraging it. All right. Wow. This is actually going to be really nice to edit compared with that Stormlight RPG one. Yeah. So that's great. So you can find us on 17shard.com for all your news, discussion, theories, and fun that you could ever want. We have a Discord server, not, the Shard Discord, but the app Discord, of course. Discord.gg/17shard. Jason, where can people find you?
They can find me on YouTube primarily at youtube.com/@Jasonian. I am also on Instagram as Jasonian the World Hopper and TikTok as Jasonian.
Nice. Hell yeah. Links will be in the description. And we'll probably do an Ember Dark episode sometime. We do got to do the Stormlight RPG lore episode. We got a lot to do, guys. So we'll see you all next time for something else. Bye.
Bye-bye. Farewell.
Caw.